I've been here over 50 years, and I started volunteering very early in the game. I was president, a past president of the Council of Catholic Women. In fact, at the same time, I was president of the Collier County Medical Alliance. I was always president of the Council of Catholic Women and the Hospital Service League. So because my husband's a physician, I got very involved in the medical community. And it was a very small town. When I came to Naples, my husband was the 22nd physician. And now you know how many there are. It's amazing. The town was very small. It was a very small medical community. So you got involved. I think women got involved more because this was a small town. And especially like the Medical Alliance, we all became friends. So I think that at the time, I was interested in Sunlight Home, but I really didn't have a whole lot of time. And as I said, I met Rosemary Erickson a long time ago. I mean, probably in the early 70s. And I know that Rosemary talked about this, dreamt about having this for many, many years. And then when they actually started, one of the board members would send out letters asking for donations, and I always made a donation. But I could not really get involved physically for a while. And I can't honestly remember when I did, at what point. And as Linda said, I came out. I do remember coming out and teaching one of the girls how to bathe a baby. I am an RN, and I did work in obstetrics. So I kind of felt like this was a good place for me. And but I didn't have a whole lot of time yet. Then my kids were teenagers. You know how that is. You don't have a whole lot of time. My involvement actually just evolved very gradually. And as my husband was more successful in his practice, which actually he was from day one because it was such a demand, he was the second ophthalmologist in town. Now, I made more donations, but I really wanted to be more hands-on. And that kind of happened slowly. I can't even pinpoint when. And so then I started getting a table for the luncheon. And I think I've sponsored a table for the luncheon for quite a few years, which is in March. It's coming up. And the table's hold 12, so I usually get the girls I invite always want to come back. And it kind of has gotten them involved so that when they get a letter from Sunlight Home asking for help, most of them donate, this has kind of gotten them, I want to say pulled in, but gotten them interested. And then in the evening in November, they have a speaker, usually a very good speaker, and dinner. And I have sponsored them at the yacht club we belong to, which a lot of people love to go because, of course, we have beautiful water views there. But then I was trying to remember when, several years ago, thinking, what can I do for these girls that would be special? So I said to Linda, I'd really like to take you and the girls, whoever's here, to dinner. So I started doing that once a month. And I usually did it the night my husband had his fly fishing meeting. So he wasn't going to be around anyway. And it was usually a Monday because the restaurants are not as busy. So we tried a few different restaurants in the beginning, and it was really funny because sometimes the girls, they look at the menu and there was just nothing there that interested them. So finally, the first time we went to the Cheesecake Factory, they have a very extensive menu, as you know. Well, all of a sudden, everyone loved the Cheesecake Factory. And I have to say, they're very, very nice when they have children with them. So this has kind of evolved to, that's our place. We go once a month. And if it's Christmas, I try to do little gifts for the kids. And I mean, it's just a change for them to get out of here. It's a change for Linda. And I've gotten to know them better because at dinner, it's just like everyone says you should have dinner with your children, which I believe in. It's kind of the same thing. They kind of talk a little bit more. And I've really gotten to know them. And then some of the girls that have placed their babies, they're not even here anymore. They're working. I still invite them to dinner. And if they're available, if they're able to come, they do. So it's kind of like keeping that connection, watching them succeed, telling them again that they did the right thing. One of the girls I told you about. I'm waiting to hear from her, whether she's going to come to dinner next time. But they love it, and it's kind of like a little family because they've gotten to know each other here, and they kind of are a little support system for each other once they leave here, I think. I think I think they really want to save babies, basically. And right now, I think last night when I was watching Fox News, they were saying how many babies are aborted every year. It's pretty high.
1.2 million.
Yeah. And you also probably know now they're trying to extend the abortion to after the baby is born, which is horrific. It's infanticide as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think the American people want that. I would say 99.9% of people have a heart. They do not want that. Even those who believe in first trimester abortion don't want to see this happening. And they shouldn't. I mean, we're now headed down a path of killing babies, period. I mean, we were killing them before in utero, but now they're going to wait till they're full term and do them in. In one of the talk shows on Fox News, this guy who's pretty funny, Greg Gutfeld, said, you know, it's kind of what's going to happen when they don't like their teenagers. Kind of the same thing. It's just still a baby. And it also loses the personhood for them because now they're no longer considered a person even though they're born. So if you have a woman 8 months pregnant walking on the street and someone attacks her and the baby dies in utero, that is not going to be considered murder anymore. Now it is. This is no longer going to be murder when you attack a woman that's very pregnant and the baby dies. And so the poor people are going to have no recourse. And this is really, I mean, it's leading down to, I'm wondering when it's going to get to the old people. You know, it's very sad. Anyway, I just think the vision here is to save babies, first of all, but also save the mothers, to help the mothers, to help those that have made the decision. Because if they've come here, they've made the decision that they're going to either parent the baby or place the baby. And Linda is so good at that, in helping them. And sometimes they don't make that decision until they've actually delivered the baby. And she helps them, but she doesn't make it too easy, which is a good thing, because people need to know what it's really like to have an infant. And it doesn't, they don't have off buttons, they don't go away. You've got them. And I think it makes them realize sometimes, am I really equipped at my age to do this? And some of them are quite young. So I can see a change in them slowly. Sometimes they come here very rebellious. I said I get a chance to talk to them a little bit more when at dinner. And they kind of come out a little bit. And they don't always tell me their whole story. It isn't necessary. And they're often interested in me and how did I get where I am, which is very interesting. And the girls, they say, well, how did you happen to go to nursing school? So it always starts a little conversation, and I try to let them know, you know what? You can do anything you want to do. You just have to work hard. It doesn't come easily. And I really push that. I said, nobody gets anywhere overnight. And Linda tries to tell them that. They have to start. Some of them come here with nothing, usually. And then if they place the baby, they still have nothing. They place the baby, they're grieving, and they need help. So this is why Linda started, she pushed for the transition at the home for the girls to stay here. Because you can't just put them out the door when they're 2 months postpartum. Where are they going to go? Most of them don't have an education beyond high school, if that. Often they don't have any, they just don't have a job. They don't have the skills. So you have to really enforce the fact that in order for them to succeed, they have to get an education. And I think Linda also encourages the Beauchamp programs because these are places that these girls can get quite a bit of training and can start out at a certain level and continue to work at it. But it's work. I mean, there's no question about it. We all know that. You just don't go from here to there overnight. And I think it takes a while for them to get that. But Linda works very hard at it. And I work very hard at it when I'm talking to them at dinner. But I think she would love to have more transition places. But I think people can help so many ways. I mean, if they can't volunteer, if they don't have time, they can certainly financially help. A lot of people can't do that. But I have a friend who really doesn't have much money, but she was contributing $10 a month here, which to Linda, to them, is a lot. Linda, I laugh about Linda. She can make $1 go further than anybody I know because she was raised that way. So I think that they obviously need financial help. And people who could donate, like they've had many, many wonderful people donate their used cars for these girls because now they're ready to get a job. They have no transportation. And this means that volunteers who are great, they have a lot of them here, drive them there, or Linda drives them, picks them up. So there's a great need for them to be able to get to work, back from work, and then they're more apt to succeed in their job. And a lot of them, a very high number of them, I think. Not everybody goes out of here and stays on the path that we would like to see, but a lot of them do. And they very much appreciate Sunlight Home. And I think when they reach the point when they can give back, they will. So, and they help each other, especially the girls who have placed their babies. I think they have their own little support system. And today, adoption is so much different than it used to be when I was a student nurse. They used to whisk the baby away, and the girl never saw it. They never know who had the baby. And now these girls are able to decide who adopts their baby, and they usually have some kind of contact. Not necessarily physical, it's all a little different. Some of them just take videos, they get photos. So I always ask the girls that have placed their babies, they do have contact, every one of them. And I always want to see the new photos, watch the kids grow up. And so they know that way that their child is happy. And I think Linda is my husband says, because he's become very interested. And he said to me one day, what are they ever going to do if Linda is not there? Because she is just such an really exceptional person. And she just knows how to, she makes them, they all learn how to clean, they learn how to cook. And she's not easy on them. And I think some of the girls that come, they know the rules and they can't handle it. And they can't stay if they can't handle it. But you have to be strict. I think you have to have that structure, which every child needs, as you know. In fact, I have to tell you a funny story. My daughter graduated from college. She was a psychology major, and she was always interested in working in the prison system. She ended up, it's not easy to get a job, she ended up getting a job at a men's level 4 prison while she was getting her master's in psychology. And she was born and raised in Naples. I've always thought of her as kind of a naive in that she'd never been around this kind of, most people haven't. But I would ask her, how are things going? She said, oh, they're fine, Mom. I said, you ever have any problems? She said, no, I treat the inmates like the nuns treated us, fair and firm. And that's the answer. I think that's the answer in life, to be fair and firm. And I think that's Linda's philosophy here.
Hi, I'm Pastor Chuck Reish. I'm the executive producer at Horizon Media Studios. It's a 501c3 media ministry, and what we're doing is helping other ministries tell their story. Homeless shelters and children's homes, Bible colleges, seminaries, mission sending agencies. With your help, we can continue to help tell their story, to inspire the world, to shine their light, and let God get the glory for the work that's being done in advancing the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Thanks again for praying for us.